I'm going to have a go at this nose cone. I don't like this flattened end here. It needs to come out about another 2 inches. I know it doesn't seem like much, but it's a shame because I put so much time into the rest of it. So here we are with another of my dome hammering contraptions. So I'm not going to start hammering that today, but I'll just get it all ready, do all the prep work, and then come at it fresh tomorrow morning. So I'm making a domed nose cone tip, or at least I'm trying to, for my nose cone, which currently is a bit flattened off. So I've got some steel welding there. You see that's kind of more what I'm aiming for. So that's my pattern. And I've been hammering away at this sheet of aluminium, and you see it's nearly there. I may stop hammering now and move to the English wheel. It's getting close. If I stretch the middle a bit more and leave the edges alone, it'll slowly dome out a little bit more. So I'm going to take this out from the 2 pieces of wood it's clamped between, and then move to my English wheel to smooth it out and make it look lovely. So at the moment it's all a bit bumpy. So the first thing to do is smooth the bumps out. So for that I don't have the rollers really tight, I just have them, well, yeah, I'm not trying to stretch the metal, I'm trying to smooth out the bumps. So just needs to, you can feel them bouncing through, so the aim is to smooth them down bit by bit, then slowly tighten it. So you can see there it's coming quite quickly. It tends to favour the middle rather than the edges because you kind of go across the middle more. So I'm going to have to concentrate a bit more around the edge, but see how it's coming. So I'll stop filming now, and then I'll do a bit more, and then I'll film again. So I've done 2 full passes with a fairly thick filler rod because I want it to be proud, so I can use a flap disc to take it back. But you can see we should be able to sort of grind and then polish that back. It certainly looks better than it did before already. So this is the top panel on the front. You can see I've got the weld slightly proud all the way around so I can smooth it back. The other thing I've done today is smooth this off. I've not polished it yet, but I've used 120 grit. And where there are depressions, I've actually basically been using aluminium weld as filler. So I can't really hammer them up from below because I've already got, I've got like a double skin now. So I don't know if you meant to do it like that, but it works. It's tedious. It took a whole day. I've done something similar with the underside here. Not quite as well done because you won't, of course, you won't see it so much. You can see there's a little bit of an edge there, for example. I could fill that with weld and then re-grind it. I might do yet, I don't know. Bit there, bit there. But yeah, how perfect does it need to be at the end of the day with 2 weeks to go? I think it's more important to make sure the mechanicals are definitely finished. Right, well, there is a way of balancing wheels if you haven't got a balancing machine. So basically you get one of the front hubs, make sure the jack stand isn't rubbing the tyre anywhere, bolt your wheel to it, undo this, loosen the big nut that squeezes the bearings together. You normally it's under very slight tension, back it off a turn so that it runs really freely. You've got to put all 5 nuts on obviously, and then just, you see, if I let go of this wheel now, there's a heavy side, it wants to fall down. Yeah, there's definitely a heavy side. Then you stick a 2-ounce weight, I'll do it on the other side, but you stick a 2-ounce weight onto the top, and then if it falls back round to the bottom with the weight on, you know that the weight's too heavy, so you take a bit of weight off, and you keep doing that until it stays wherever you put it, it doesn't roll back down, and then it's roughly balanced then. So I've got some weights. I got some weights off Amazon, next day delivery. They're in grams, but you can see that's a 10, that's a 5, 10, 5, 10, 5, and they come in these self-adhesive strips. So 2 ounces, I think, is 60 grams. I'm just going to have to double check that. And I'm not going to use the super sticky back. I'm going to stick them on with tape, just temporarily, because I'm going to be changing the weights. And then when I've worked out how much weight I need, I'll stick them on properly. So I've cleaned the rim here, under there, with acetone, and these wheels have already been pressure washed. So luckily for me, these wheels aren't just a ball of rust, they're actually not too bad. So the weight should stick, hopefully. So my heavy side is down there, so I should probably put a little dot just to remind myself which is the heavy side. Okay, so an ounce is 30.5 something grams, so that's 30 grams, that's 30 grams, so that's 2 ounces. I've cut them like this so I can remove 10s or 5s if I want to start taking weight off. So I'm going to try and tape them on so they stick just long enough for me to get the weight right. So I've taped there, I've taped on 2 ounces. Now that's interesting, because look what happens if I spin the wheel like that. The wheel goes back to how it was. See, there's a little dot there, that's my previous low point. So if anything, I need a little bit more weight here. So I've stuck another 10 grams on. So if I move it there, see what happens when I let go. And then what if I do that way? Yeah, so that side down there is heavy. Well, you can see I had to add a lot more weight, but now if I put it there, it still is moving back slowly, but it's more or less offset the heavy part if I try that way. let go. So basically it needed a lot of weight. Of course, you think about it, these weights are nowhere near the edge of the rim. They're halfway in. I mean, there's the bearing, which is why you need so much weight, because these tyres are so deep. So I think that's part of the problem compared to a modern wheel. This is the next of the big rear wheels, and you can see here now there's still quite a lot of weight on, not as much as the other one though. So if I move it to that point and let go, it starts to move back up just a little bit. There it goes. How about if I go that way? Okay, letting go. Again, it starts to come up. So I'm going to leave it like, say that's as good as I'm going to get it. So that works out at 3 and a bit ounces on this side. It's probably not too out of spec from what you might expect. Right, I'm in the process of doing the shocks finally. I needed a couple of spacer washers here and here. This is a slimline nylock nut. Now I know it's not period correct, but I need to use it because I need to trim this thread down a bit, because there's this tie rod thing that comes across here, and I need it in just a bit so it doesn't foul it. So yeah, I know it's not period correct, but I've got to do it really. So I need a rubber bush to go in here in my lever arm. And then these are from, well, this is from a Triumph Herald or Vitesse, and it just happens to be the right size. I had to cut it in half, and that will fit in there, you see. I mean, some people you just use a bolt. I've seen people use like a little ball joint, and then there's the period correct kind of ball joint, which is a ball with 2 curved cup-shaped bits of metal that sort of squeeze it. Anyway, I'm going to go for the traditional sort of rubber bush method. You know, it's only moving about this much each way. Right, so that all works. I'm going to see if I can replace these with like low-profile castle nuts, and the same down there as well. But the main thing is it all fits together okay. Right, so these have been split pinned now, there and there, and then serve these with the low profile split pin nuts. So this bar that comes across here doesn't touch them on full steering lock. Right, I've been pushing quite hard to get this kind of nearly finished. So what have I done? Small things, bit of edging strip on the bottom of the dials and gauges department, split pin castle nuts here and here. Tracking isn't done yet, steering's roughly together, I need to paint that. These bars are now bolted through, these are also bolted through, and then these nuts, all 4 of them are split pinned now. I've adjusted the brakes, the brake adjusters are the little star adjusters under that rubber flat, and you put the screwdriver in, and to bring the brake shoes out you lever the little wheel side facing you, put a screwdriver in and you lever it down, so you're turning the little starred wheel that way. And then with this side it's the same thing, the side that's facing you, you push it down with the screwdriver, which brings the shoes out. So it was up on the axle stand, so I could feel when the shoes were just starting to rub. So it takes some of the slack out of the braking system. Put this panel back on. I had to take this out to do it. I've still got to connect this to this. And another little mistake. This is the fuel tank breather. I wanted a breather / anti-roll valve. I bought one of these, but it's the wrong type. This type is more for putting in your fuel line to your fuel pump with a mechanical pump car. So when the car's stood for a while, it doesn't drain back to the tank, which means it takes ages to start next time you try and start it. Now what I needed is it's one that's got like this is just a one-way valve basically. I need something that lets air in and air out of the tank. If it air in as the fuel's being used, air's got to go in, and if it's a hot day you get fumes, build up pressure, they've got to be able to vent out. But if the car rolls upside down, it's got to stop petrol just dribbling out. So the valve I need is it's an anti-rollover. It's a vent valve / anti-rollover valve. So it looks very similar to that, but it's not that. So I've got one coming on a 24-hour delivery now because time's getting short. I need to get that fitted, and then that vents out through the bottom of the bodywork somewhere via the valve. Okay, coming in for a new day's work. Looks good on the ground. Here's a tip. You wonder what this is hanging here. It's part of the steering mechanism. I've just painted it satin black. I always do my painting of little parts like this at the end of the day, last thing. So I'll hang it up, I'll spray on some etch primer, and then I'll run away basically and leave the garage door open a little crack because the fumes are really pretty toxic. Let that dry, come back. It's now like 11 o'clock in the evening, and I'll just put a couple of coats of satin black and I'll leave it overnight, and then in the morning my workshop's not full of nasty paint fumes. So anything like that I save for the end of the day. These rear wheel nuts are quite important. Do you remember there's like a taper fit, a long taper fit onto the axle, where the wheel goes onto the axle with a Woodruff key type thing in it. This is meant to be done up so tight that the two metal surfaces bind to each other. The key should actually work without the key if it's done right. Some people even grind them in to each other using valve lapping paste. I've seen that described. I mean, mine looked in pretty good condition, didn't look damaged in any way. And of course, if they're on correctly, they're a nightmare to get off again. That's kind of the point. If they come off easily, they probably weren't on tight enough. So these need to be done up to, it varies, between 190 to 200 foot-pounds. I've seen some people say 220 foot-pounds. That's basically a lot of torque. And then a split pin goes through. So I've done that one. This one, and there's a reason that bit of pipe's on the ground. This is my torque wrench. This torque wrench goes up to about 158 foot-pounds. So I've got it clicking at 158. But of course the hole doesn't line up for the split pin, so I need to go around a bit more to get that to line up. Now it was a third of a turn to go from 100 foot-pounds to 158. So I reckon if I do another third of a turn or thereabouts, just using a normal driver with a pipe on it until I can get the hole lined up for the split pin, I'm probably in the right ballpark. I don't know if I'm going to get flamed on comments for that, but I mean, that's a pretty big torque wrench, but still, to do it with a torque wrench I need to buy a mega torque wrench for a truck or something, presumably, to click at that kind of torque.